time you're listening to us. We're just so grateful that you're here. We got a guest star, so we got a new setup. Looks a little different. See more of probably the bed behind me. Also, if everyone takes a quick look, Tanner looking fresh, looking new HD camera. Right there. New camera. So yeah, I said something might be in the mail. I didn't know how. I just kind of had a little vision. And sure enough, yeah, you just found that right in your mailbox. Huh? It just came out of nowhere.
And it's funny because you wanted it to go to the mailbox, right?
Mm-hmm.
It showed up at my doorstep.
Oh wow!
Yeah, they just popped it right at the doorstep. So
really, look at them go. It's not like there was a special request, hypothetically, obviously.
I know, right?
But whatever, that's fine. But yeah, so Tanner's looking fresh now. He's got the good looking face going on. Very excited for that. This is our first interview. So with me to my left over here is my boy Nick.
Hey, how's it going?
So Nick and I, man, how long have we known each other? It's got to be like
8 years.
8 years, dude.
Wow. 9 years.
So we've known each other for a super, super long time. Right as I think I had become an instructor. So I had been a lifeguard for about a year. You had been a lifeguard for multiple.
2 years.
And so we've kind of grown up throughout lifeguarding and things like that together. And ironically enough, we both still are in the field of lifeguarding. And he has some cool stories that will kind of go back and forth. But just wanted to kind of introduce what's going on. And this is going to be our CPR story segment, right? So we're just doing a full-on interview. So again, our first interview, very exciting. I will say the setup to make this happen was atrocious. We were supposed to start about 45 minutes ago. And here we are now, but we got it.
Hey, we value perfection, man. Perfection.
Was your camera just plug and play, Tanner?
Yeah. It was very easy.
It's always my side of things. Like it's always my sound. It's always my audio. I get so mad because like my microphone wouldn't pick up, which I finally figured out. It was so it was like auto adjusting the volume, the gain. And so I finally figured it out. So I was able to disable it all, and I think it's been good pretty much ever since. But yeah, I've had all this like terrible stuff. Tanner gets this like $40 mic, perfect, right? Tanner gets his camera, plugs in, perfect. I'm over here, like there's cords. We threw everything to where it can't be seen, but it was everywhere. Just trying to make all this happen.
Didn't you watch all the YouTube videos and like
it's like I should be the master of this, and I can't do shit, man.
Hey, but it's almost always something very like small.
It always is.
Like
it always is. Yep.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you the story of the pins?
I don't think
I was talking about okay, so this is gonna be side. This is what we do: we say we're gonna talk about something, and then we decide not to talk about that and actually talk about something else. So we call them tangents. But so where the story of the pins comes from is, we had made all of our safety bins, which was for about like 60-ish pools up in DFW, and we loaded up everything, first aid kits with everything that they have, perfect.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember the story now.
Everything was perfect. And then Memorial Day weekend, we get our first text that says, "Hey, we're missing pins."
Oh no, I already know where this is going, bro.
Yeah. And so we're like, okay, we'll bring some pins out. Next text, "Hey, we're missing pins." Oh no. And so it turned into none of the pools really got their pins. And so we pretty much on Memorial Day weekend had to last minute plan everybody, Gabby, all the supervisors, myself, anyone that could drive, like to bring out pins to all 60 pools. And even with everyone that we used, I still think it took about 2 hours to get squared away. So yeah, I had everything perfect, but pins. So that's my story on details.
Like it's so simple, but it's like you need it.
You
like
do.
It's honestly one of the more essential things in that.
Right? It's a critical thing,
and it's just like And the thing is like we had the pins, they just never got put into the bins. So like they were all at storage and things like that. But so yeah, that's my story of the pins. Real good attention to detail story there. But backtracking to kind of what's new, what's going on. We have TikTok. So we're TikTok people now. I don't know if that's a good thing. But we have a TikTok now. Got 3 whopping videos on there. But that was the plan, was to add a TikTok and have more outreach that direction. We do have some followers that we'll add to our follower segment in the end. But yeah, with TikTok, check us out. It is slightly different. Unfortunately, we couldn't keep the same handle because it was too long, sadly. So it's Big Bear Theory Pod C. No period, no nothing. So Pod, P-O-D, and then just a letter C. We got a whopping 9 followers on there. Have some great people running it. I did want to give them a shout out because if you heard, our intro is different. And if you see it on YouTube, it is beautiful. So we got a really cool intro. It was made by our homies Sarah Watley, Riley Robinson. They're kind of helping run the TikTok. So the intro is the first video. If you want to check it out on TikTok, you can see it. It looks really, really good. Big shout out to them for making that possible, and very excited.
Sounds fantastic.
It is good, dude. Like it's super clean. I think it's got more like vibes. There actually was, to me, a slightly better one, but it just had a little bit murder mystery vibes to it. And Tanner and I don't do. I mean, not that we wouldn't do murder mysteries, but
hey, somebody asked for it, then we can do it.
Anything's possible, right?
We would have to call it like Big Scare Theory or something like that. Change the name, which is an option. Should we pop off? So, yeah, if you really want Big Scare to come, Big Scare Theory to come on, then you're going to need to really boost up our follows, guys. So quit slacking. Stop being lazy. Follow us. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. Still only 32 followers. Not mad. I'm just disappointed. And we can push on to Big Scare Theory. So that's all of our new things. It's been a lot going on last couple of weeks, but hope you all enjoy that. And I don't know where to start. I've never done an interview before. Tanner, you got any suggestions?
We can start with. I think we could start with how you guys. Did you already say how you guys met?
Yeah. I mean, sort of.
I have 2 things with Parker.
So we have 2 stories.
We have 2 stories.
Yeah.
So this is my boss at the time. I have the video picture saved. And so I explained
we got receipts.
I explained Parker, I was like, hey, I'm new to the center we were working at, and I'm in the group. We're doing what was it? Drill groups.
Yeah, so
competition.
A little backstory is the place we worked at, they allowed the head guards to basically create their own team, and they would run an in-service for 3 months. So the head guard ran the in-service for 3 months for that team to compete in a competition where it was basically like audited skills, and the best team got a prize. So Nick kind of got it brought onto my team the first week we started.
First week I was there.
Yeah.
So I texted him, and then he goes, well, I'm out of town this weekend. We can talk Monday. And I was like, well, I'm in LGI as well. And he goes, well, it should be pretty easy, and you should learn quick. So this is how the very first in-service went. And he already knows what I'm talking about. He comes in, we have to do, he had his favorite thing called the power of 25. In which basically you had to swim 25 yards, get out, do 25 push-ups, swim 25 yards, do 25 squats, swim 25 yards, do 25 sit-ups. Didn't even get through half of his workout. And 3 people started throwing up.
Yeah, because it was
literally somebody that one of our other friends, he had cereal and he just upchucked milk and cereal. And you had 2 other people.
Cereal it was, yeah. Oh, gross.
Yeah, and it was 3 people. I was like, all right, man, this is going to be interesting. I was more better in shape, and then all the working out we did, I was sore for like 2 days. And I was like, okay, I'm good. So that was my introduction of Randall Parker White.
3 people throwing up. Hey, it's a good workout, though.
Name drop.
It's a good workout. Dude, yeah. Everyone's like, what? Randall? Yeah. If you didn't know, Randall's my real name. So Call me that, and I'll tell you a place where you can meet me. A place called Wolverine Jiu-Jitsu, and you can keep calling me that for as long as you're conscious. Cool.
Oh, that's funny.
Right, so
that's a good first impression. Yeah,
I mean, as you can tell, like we had our first impressions. Last week we talked about hypothermia. We talked about my phase 10 experience. Did you were able to hear that?
Yes, I was able to hear
the
that.
table.
Mm-hmm.
So, I may not be the best with first impressions. I guess.
That's funny you say that. That's funny you say that, Parker, because I'll expose you a little bit here. We were on the phone yesterday, and you said something that was really interesting. You were like, you told me, you were like, you are the only reason we're friends. And that wasn't like, you weren't saying that being like negative, right? Like being like, I don't know why I'm your friend. You were just like, you had to put forth the effort.
Yeah.
So it kind of sounds like Nick probably did the same thing, building up the relationship over the years.
It's true. Yeah, I just, and I think it's a little bit easier with Nick. I mean, no, yeah, it pretty much was the same way. But yeah, and actually, I would say Ahmad had a lot to do. Our buddy Ahmad had helped with our friendship for a while.
There was a time that him and I were not really friends.
Yeah, I was going to say,
a time.
Like that was the kind of we had it wasn't a falling out. It was just a disagreement.
A big disagreement.
A disagreement that literally Ahmad was literally in the middle of.
Yeah. That's right. It was a big disagreement that Parker ended up getting me demoted from my head guard position.
Wow. Can we hear about this? Like, I know that everybody at home is.
You can go from your part.
Backstory was, and I was fully understanding. This is back more Marine Corps Parker, right? So there's kind of
my other job too.
Yeah, so this was still fairly young into like me learning how to, not be an asshole all the time, right?
Yeah.
And so, but regardless, like Nick was undergoing some things. I think your grandmother was
like, I unfortunately had quite a bit of like family related deaths in like a real short of time.
Yeah, very short amount of time.
Very short amount of time that I should have took time off and I didn't.
Exactly.
Which was my fault.
Yeah. So it just, Nick was dealing with that. And it was not taking it out on the guards, but it was, you could tell like he just wasn't feeling himself,
right.
And I was getting some complaints on my end. Again, nothing bad, nothing terrible, but just like, Nick is grumpy or whatever.
Raising voice.
He was yelling a little bit. So like, just normal stuff that as we try to process our shit. Right.
Right.
Wow. I gotta, sorry guys, I'm about to leave some of this out. Nick brings out the worst in me, as you can see. But again, just normal stuff as you're dealing with it. And, I can't really remember like what was said in the meeting, but Nick had said something in the meeting, and that was like pretty much the final straw for me.
It was trigger point.
And so I literally
point. Like him and I just started going at each other.
Good old fashioned like table slam. And it's funny as Ahmad, like literally like how we are now. Ahmad's like right in the middle. Like we're all on these computer chairs at like this big conference table. And you just see Ahmad just like scoot back. And like we just get like
we're just, in front of it.
Our boss's boss.
It was pretty bad.
It was like our boss's boss was like, Nick this way, Parker this way, and like we had to go resolve it. And
that's great.
So, and the unfortunate thing was, I got demoted from the position, and they kind of like, I took some time, and I was like, hey, I went to talk to them, and I was like, hey, what could I have done different? They're like, well, you dealt with a lot, and you just didn't take time off.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think both my supervisors today, or that time, because they because they told me like, hey, take some time off, but I just didn't. I just kept working.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was, working, going to school and all that, and I just didn't do it. So
and I
finally took some time off.
And so I had gone away because I did barefoot, and you had gotten head guard at some point during that summer. And so I came back, and
I didn't get head guard yet.
Not head guard yet.
Lifeguard.
That's true. Yeah. So I come back, and Ahmad's like, hey, Nick is popping off. He's doing good. And I was like, all right, well, we'll see, because I'm not like super skeptical, but I'm also like, I'm a very neutral person, right? Like I see it when I believe it type deal. And I was like, yeah, sure, we'll see. And so I see Nick, and sure enough, yeah, doing great, doing wonderful. Like, first one on stand, like first one doing cleaning duties, like, just doing all these things. Definitely
like that.
doing head guard duties.
Like that.
Well, yeah, but like, back to just him doing him, and I came up to basically like head guard promotion time because I don't know, it was kind of weird where like they always
later.
Yeah, they always had promotions in like bulk, so it wasn't like an individual. Like there was like, hey, we're looking at XYZ people for promotion. And I think it's just because a lot of our head guards went to college. And so we were looking for the post-college people.
Right.
And so Ahmad like come up and he's like nervous. And he like rub his hand. He's like, I kind of want to put Nick's name in the basket. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And Ahmad was like, wait, what? I was like, Nick's killing it, man. And so
I didn't get it the first time, and then the second time I applied for it.
Okay.
And it was actually a funny interview because our friend Ahmad was in the interview, my head guard interview. Wow. And this is when I was like really getting back into school, and like I was going to Sam Houston. And they asked me, they're like, well, what's your plan for fall? And I was like, really want to finish my degree. I want to get going. And they're like, overall, my plan for fall is to actually not be here. So I'd be here for summer. And so all three of them just start cracking up laughing. And then, they end up re-promoting me from the position. And then I worked my way up to where in that position I moved up to actually a supervisor position.
Yeah. So now Nick is the supervisor for where we used to work.
Yeah.
Which is
one of the supervisors of all lifeguards.
And to top it all off, it gets better. So Nick, on top of all this, ends up becoming a groomsman in my wedding.
Yep.
Yeah, I knew I recognized you in those pictures.
Yeah.
We can talk about the bachelor party later. Especially those side-by-sides.
A little, side-by-sides. Those were...
The heart rates and all that. Woo! Oh, man.
Now, hold on. Boys, correct me if I'm wrong.
I got...
Correct me if I'm wrong, Parker, but Gabby was a groomsman in your wedding.
Yes, Gabby and Charles.
Full suit,
and then she wore a pantsuit. No, she didn't have it. She wanted a tie, but she couldn't find one that she liked, so she did like this cool scarf thing. But yeah, dude, she looked like a straight baller, man. She had like this like button up, and it was just like flex popping. Scarf was super cool. That's and awesome. Then Blake ended up was officiating our wedding. And it was pretty funny then because the sun was like right in Blake's eyes, so he couldn't see.
It was in all the groomsmen's eyes.
Yeah, like all of us were like, I mean, Casey had it easy because we faced sideways, but it was so bright that like Blake needed sunglasses, and all we had was Charles's big red sunglasses. So Blake's in like this nice suit, good button down, and he's wearing these like big red Oakleys to marry us in. And it was pretty funny.
It's so crazy with this wedding. It was in December, and it was still like 80 degrees.
Yes,
and it was so hot.
So hot.
And the sun's in our eyes, so they're like, are y'all crying? We're like, yes, but it's also the sun.
Yeah.
The sun was bright though. It was like peak
sundown. Yeah.
Dude, as much as you want to avoid it, Parker, the summer you can't escape it.
No. But I was grateful because it was outside. So either way, we were going to be outside. So at least it was, it was almost perfect, like 75, 80, like just a little bit too warm, but not. I mean, our wedding, that whole thing lasted like 12 minutes from beginning. Wow. And Casey walking down to us walking out was like 12 minutes.
And of all the weddings I've gone to, theirs is the only one that's actually started on time. They were straight to the point.
We didn't have a wedding planner, dude. Like all this was planned completely by ourselves. Yeah,
dude, that's
really
cool,
good.
Man. Yeah, saved a lot of money too.
Dude, yeah, we saved a lot of money. So that was really good. But yeah, I mean, so we see the timeline. And this is I think what was it, Sophie that like way ago asked of second chances. Living proof there, Sophie.
Second chance.
Nick and I are best friends. We do poker night. Once every 4 months.
On the river.
On the river. We have a group message called On the River because I always win on the river.
That's not even funny. It's not even possible.
3 nights, dude. 3 nights in a row.
He's got that luck.
I honestly feel
really
like
quickly last time.
I feel like a good amount of our viewers don't even know what that means.
That's fine.
Yeah,
They're
That's
learning
fine.
something.
Yeah, we'll teach them.
Learn. Google. Yeah, come over. We'll just do a big 100-person poker night.
That's gonna be the
Separate
first
tables and put some money on the board.
Yeah, first barefoot bash.
Hey, barefoot bash. Yes. Yeah, I was just about to say that. Barefoot bash.
Barefoot poker tournament.
Oh, God. That's funny.
That's great. That's a good story, though, Nick. Like, I feel like that's like really good to like tell new people who are coming in. Like, that's like a really good icebreaker story.
Oh, yeah.
He tells it all the time, man.
Yeah. I mean, another story I'd say is like, as a lifeguard instructor, I failed my first class as a lifeguard instructor. And
really?
I'm also a lifeguard instructor trainer. So, wow. Parker, one of the episodes saying he's the best instructor trainer. I am about that. Oh,
yeah, I got
a little competition there.
That's funny.
That is funny. I forgot. I was like, oh, yeah, he's got his LT super good. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we were like one of like 5 or 6 at one point.
At one point, it was at one point, and I think when he was still working, Ahmad and I actually got it at the same time. So all 3 of us were ITs.
Head guards.
And we were trying to train all the LGIs and everything going like that.
It's cool.
Nice. Parker, you said something in an LGI training recently. How many like are there? There's not a lot, right? Like of LGITs?
Yeah, I want to say there's like less than 1,000.
The DFW area had quite a bit of a shortage for a little bit, and then it really got popular.
In some places, like in some states, there's only like 1.
Yeah.
Like that's it. So there's a lot in Texas.
It's hot.
In the DFW area like in too.
Yeah, there's a lot in Texas. Obviously, California, Florida, New York. I think has surprisingly amount, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, a lot of the Midwestern states and things like that. It's like 1 or 2. Most people have to fly out.
Yeah,
that's cool though. That's awesome.
But we got a cool thing going. But yeah, LGIT, very cool position, very fun.
Hard training.
It is
very hard. It's not an easy training.
It's very hard. So, but
is it like is it more like physically taxing or is it more mentally taxing?
It's I would say it's very detailed. It's a little bit of physical, especially like the first 2 days.
Yeah,
but it's very like mental exhausting.
Yeah, you just got to know every single detail, man. And you're doing it such different because the way the course works is
1, be early. Don't be even on time. Be early.
Yeah.
You're late. There's a potential they kick you out even if you're late.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then the way the course works, the way the LGI course works, I feel like it might be easier to explain that. So when you're taking the LGI course, let's say there's like 10 of you. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you took this, so you kind of know, but I'm gonna explain for the viewers too. So there's like 10 of y'all for an easy number, and 1 of you is going to act like the instructor. The other 9 are gonna act like lifeguard students. So like they're 16-year-old Johnny trying to be a lifeguard.
First time.
And then you're gonna pretend teach, and you're gonna pretend to teach first time 16-year-old Johnny and friends, and you do that for about 15-ish minutes, right? And then you each kind of rotate teaching a portion of the course, and this goes on. And that's the idea. And you do that it was 4 teachbacks. Now it's only 2 because of the update. But now we go into LGIT. So now it's
8 teachbacks.
Yeah,
almost.
It's the whole LGI course is being taught. So from beginning
person. Yeah.
No. So it's like 4 hours of think of like 4 hours of lecture, and then the entire LGI course, and then like 4 hours of lecture. All right. So the whole program is based off the LGI course. So you'll have someone that is basically teaching as an LGIT, teaching LGIs. But then there are other cases where you'll have someone, you'll have the LGIs teaching the lifeguards, and the instructor trainer candidate will be giving feedback on the LGI, giving feedback to the lifeguard class.
And that's what they're getting graded on.
Yeah.
Is like giving
the LGIT. Yeah, the LGIT is grading the LGI. The LGI is grading the lifeguards. And then the LGITEs are making sure that you hit everything as the LGIT. Mainly for the LGI, but yeah, it's where you're like, what am I doing? Am I LGI? Am I LGIT? Am I a student? So that's where it gets even crazier too, is just trying to figure out. I mean, it probably made no sense just trying to explain that.
Well, no, I mean, you explained it well, but so LGIT isn't even the highest?
No, so the highest that you can absolutely get is an LGITE, E standing for educator. So lifeguard, instructor, trainer, educator.
It's all teaching, basically.
Yeah. And those people are hired by the Red Cross. So like Nick and I can't become an LGITE. Or just like we can't do a training to be an LGITE. Yeah. They have to apply for it, they have to be selected by Red Cross. And then Red Cross will they say basically, hey, we have a class in California. Can you do it? And you go.
You basically shadow.
So you don't even really even if I did get my LGITE through Red Cross, like I can't just create courses. Only the Red Cross can create courses. So very, very limited. I think there's in total less than 20 LGITEs in the US.
And you go to academy and they don't know where you go for the academy.
Yeah. Wow. And there's really only 4 states that they do them in.
That's crazy.
So it's super, super top tier.
It's hard. I'll admit that. I mean, I think I was tired every day.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I bet. I feel like that's honestly like a pretty good rule of thumb is like if you can say like I am only one of 20 or one of 1,000 in the country of anything, you're probably like able to make pretty good money doing that.
And imagine you're number 1.
Yeah.
Number 1 of 1,000. That's me.
Oh, you're saying
crazy. Yeah, I'm number 1.
Wow.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know where. This is why I'm number 1, because I get my own jokes, guys.
We're gonna cut this.
Someone's laughing. I'm the editor, guy. I'm gonna put only this in. At today's episode, Parker's number 1.
A 2-minute podcast.
Yep, that's it. That's all you need to know. Cool. So actually, you know what? I think this is really good backstory to what's going on. This is a personal account. So Nick is going to tell his story. So Nick did CPR. I'm not going to give any details other than that, but Nick do actual CPR on somebody, and then we'll go through that, see how that goes. It's a pretty cool story. And then we have some time. We can probably share some more stories. If not, too bad. Nick will have to come next time. So if you like Nick, give him a like, subscribe, follow. He doesn't have any of these channels, but do it anyway. So just give us the like and follow and subscribe, and then say for Nick. There you go. Hashtag for Nick.
Yeah, we'll give it to him.
And we'll give it to him. And we'll say, and he'll do his own follower appreciation, so we can do less of those. Because we have like another 15 to 20, by the way, Tanner. So
nice.
It's just never going to end, which is good.
Yeah.
So Nick, tell us your delightful story.
Hey, you know what's crazy about the Parker? The night before this CPR story, for his birthday, we went to a Randy Rogers concert at Billy Bob's.
Billy Bob's, yep.
So because I got home late, it was actually funny. I was actually late to work that day.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm starting out batting 1,000.
Yeah.
With this situation. So how it started, it was a little bit weird, and it's actually crazy from the process of how it the response was. It was actually a new policy created for work from it. So what happened was I was outside in our pump room. I actually wasn't head guarding today. I was just lifeguarding. Mm-hmm. I came back from college, broke college student trying to get some extra money.
Right.
And everybody knows that if they're in college, after they come back, they want to work.
Yep.
So I was outside. I think I was on my phone. I was on my break, and the head guard was in the pump room. It was the head guard was in the pump room, but somebody else walked out from. We have a laundry room, and so everybody has to have radios. So our dry side people have radios. The head guards people have radios and all that. I didn't have it because I was just lifeguarding. So something weird came over the radio, and I was just like, "That's weird." So I went to the head guard. I was like, "Hey, did you hear that?" He goes, "No, I really didn't." So I was walking out and I said, "Well, I'm going to go grab our e-bag just in case." Well, it turns and finds out that there's another guard. He's working on dry side a little bit. And one of our friends, I don't know if you remember Peter.
Yep.
He comes in, goes into the aquatic office, grabs his fanny pack, goes on deck and just activates your AP. So I just stopped and started running.
Yeah.
So when we actually got there, our basketball court always divides to like one side is ping pong on Sundays and the other side's open court. And on the side over there, the guy's just on the ground. Just straight on the ground. We see another worker over there trying to work. And so I go down, I'm not trying to, and it looked like everybody was like, whoa, this is like really so. As soon as I get there, and I know that Parker's going to laugh at this part, very first thing I see or hear is Agno gasp.
Dang. So he finally got to hear the Agno gasp is very mythical.
Yeah, and you actually hear it. And so I looked at everybody that was around with the e-bag and all that, because we had about 7 guards respond. And because they were all on break, any kind of like that, we have somebody that's designated for any kind of like emergency. Right. And then everybody else, if there's an emergency, we respond. And I looked at everybody and I said, okay, let's go. And I tilt the head back, check for pulse and breathing, and there's just no pulse. Nothing. There's so not even crazy. Breathing. There's nothing.
So crazy.
So this is actually funny too. So they got the scissors out and they start cutting the shirt. I was like, man, it's taking too long. So I grabbed the shirt and I just rip it off.
You just bulk it off.
I just ripped it off.
That's funny, dude.
And it was actually funny. They got the AD ready quick. They pulled it out, did exactly so the order. They turned it on. They gave me the pads and they plugged it in. And so the AD, before he even started compressions, actually, I think somebody before us did one set.
Okay.
Wow.
One set. I put on the ADs and the AD says shock advised. So
was it like almost in like 30 seconds in?
It's not even, I won't even say that. They analyzed and it said shock advised.
That's crazy.
So, if everybody sees the little ADs and all that, they're kind of small machines.
Yeah, they're like maybe less than a foot.
Yeah. I mean, so we pressed the flashing shot, we pressed the button and his whole body jolted. And so I went straight into CPR because it said been 5 cycles. So I put my hands down and started CPR. And, we all train as lifeguards. We train and everything. And I think Parker actually says this in his classes. When you do CPR on a mannequin, it's kind of easy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The mannequin doesn't do justice at all. I mean, this guy was stiff as a board. Wow. I thought I was pressing down on a 2x4.
Wow.
And we won't give any like names or like what, but he was older, but he is my size. Yeah. So he's like 160-ish maybe, and so as you can see, like Nick's a big boy, right? I'm not a big, and so like to say that like he literally couldn't compress on someone my size is pretty crazy.
Yeah. So, you go into you go in your own different world. And, the big thing is we always talk about is communication.
Yep.
Talking. And so I actually had somebody that was up top of the head holding the mask and she was doing my counting. And, I was so zoned in that they said they heard the bones crack. They heard the cartilage crack.
Which happens for
CPR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to press as hard as I can. And it is hard. I'm telling you, it is hard.
You say you were like sweating, right?
Oh, man, it was crazy. The amount of sweating I was doing. It was absolutely crazy. I didn't even notice it. I was so focused in, but I was so focused in, I couldn't even count.
You were drowning the guy with your sweat.
A little unconscious.
And so it was actually funny. And we always say we want to tell which cycle you're on, right? CPR and all that. We can the guy that was on the phone with 911. They asked, "What cycle are you on?" So he goes, "Hey, what cycle are you on?" And I looked him straight in the eyes, and I was like, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he was like, so he just thought I was mad at him, but I was so focused. And so I'm on
cycle 5,234.
He's like, yeah, he's on cycle 5. It's actually funny. I don't know. And so I ended up doing 8 cycles. So paramedics came 6 minutes later. It was actually funny because they're telling us they just got done with a call, and then they got the call again, and they're like, all right, we'll make a U-turn. And then the city I work for, they also have a unit specialized for worst of the worst. So they dispatched them too. So they all come at the same time. And unfortunately, the one thing we didn't move is we didn't move him. So he's like kind of against the wall in a real awkward situation.
Yeah.
So the paramedics come and just move him, and they're like, you continue CPR. And this time I'm just like, man, I'm tired, but I just kept going and going and going.
Yeah.
So there's, paramedics are just hooking up all their machines and all that. And they're like, okay, we'll take over. And they'd even do one set of CPR. And they're like, the heart's going, but he's still unconscious. I mean, he's completely unconscious.
Yeah.
And so
Can't wait. Like, yeah.
Loaded up. And they're talking to us. And so when after all that, I stood up and you just see on my arms just dripping sweat. I'm just dripping sweat. And, I see the other staff members and they're a little nervous and all that. And what I did is I literally just walked away real quick. That was it.
Yeah.
And, they're like, oh, no, you gotta stay. And I just need a minute. But if you ever want a good cardio workout, I'm telling you, man, do some CPR. You got adrenaline and you got trying to use some muscle.
Dude, and I'm sure you just wanted even just a minute, just like to yourself, just to like collect yourself.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it, I just needed a quick minute. I mean, I put my hands on my hips and I just like walked away real quick.
Yeah. And that's what I've done that before. Like I feel like we may have talked about this, but I can't remember. So if we have, too bad. But you get like after it's all kind of done, like your body has everything going through its system, like adrenaline, like all the zols, cortisol, whatever. Like it's all there, and it goes from 100% to like nothing. Like you don't get like this cool down effect. So like you end up like, to me, I used to get like really shaky. Like I used to shake all the time and I just had to like sit and like whole body would just be shaking. Like I couldn't control it. And I just had to like breathe it out for like a good minute or two. And then after that was fine. Like it wasn't a, it's not a bad thing. It's just something that happens because your body's got to figure it out. Right. And so, like walking away, like, it's not like it's intentional or even like, I'm done with this. It's like, I just got to like,
I mean, a lot of it, I just stood and just like cleared my head.
Yeah. And then after that, you can go right back to functioning and go back to reportings and all that and things like that. But just so you all are aware, the guy's alive. So Nick, he got a full celebration, not celebration. 2 different celebrations from we'll call it, but it was like from the mayor. So we got to go to like, was it city council or city council? So I got to be there and we actually got to meet the guy that he saved, which was super cool. But yeah, he was there with everyone that was a part of the rescue team. And the guy took a picture. It was super, super cool. So
what ended up like, bringing him to that state of like consciousness? Was it just like he just passed out? Like,
so as it was explained to me is like, he basically failed a stress test and that's what happened. And, unfortunately, I don't know. He was there visiting a friend. Cause I guess the friend, he usually goes to another, recreation center, but he went cause his friend was, I guess, having a couple like health issues and he wanted to play ping pong with him.
Got you.
And he was there at the right time.
Wow. Crazy.
And, like the only thing there's only 2 things I regret of that whole situation was, one, I should have moved him. But, in that mindset, you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And second, I probably should have switched.
I probably should have.
I did 8 cycles by myself. Didn't even think of switching, just came and go.
And this guy, and again, it's like, it's hard. It's not like us doing 8 cycles training on these mannequins, which, you can just push down just by doing this, right? Nick was, so yeah, imagine just like pushing onto the floor.
You're compressing something that's not meant to be compressed at all.
Yeah. You did 8 minutes straight up, or 8 cycles straight up push-ups. So was that about 4 minutes almost of straight push-ups?
I mean, I think in total, if I did, it was, let me do some math in my head.
Wow, this is why it's stressful. Like I don't know if you heard where I was like, I can never do math on this, whatever, but I could do it like 2 seconds. So 240,
like 240 potentially.
So basically 240 push-ups. Wow. That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
That's insane.
But yeah, it's really cool. And I was safe. We got to meet him. Got to meet his family. And a lot of times you don't really get that opportunity, and so it was really, really cool to get that. It was really cool for me to be a part of it. And be able to see that. And it was a lot of fun. Now it's funny. I was like laughing, like smiling this entire time as Nick's telling this guy the story of this dead. But it's just like, this is I don't know, life saving is kind of weird because you just get really excited about almost like the crazier scenarios, Like when we're like, oh, someone slipped and fell, it's like, whatever, we want like the bone sticking out,
And I have a story. I have a story about that too. A severed finger.
Severed finger.
Oh my
A
God.
severed finger.
Wait, I think that's crazy. I think I remember you telling me this story. I'm pretty sure you told me this story. The severed finger? Was it at a gym?
Man, the guy that was eagle lifting, right? I told you.
Yes.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you?
What is that? This workout?
No, eagle.
I don't work out.
So eagle lifting is basically like somebody that's doing too much weight but doesn't know the form, but they're showing off. So like their ego's pushed up.
They're like just stressing themselves out, like just like doing so much weight that obviously they shouldn't.
Yeah, basically you're doing so much weight. When you always work out, everybody says you want to get form down, and the best way is form technique is low weight. I mean, even like me as still that works out, I start with the bar, and I make sure, hey, is my form good? Do I feel good with that? Am I too low, too high?
Right.
Well, this guy, and he was doing. I remember the weight because I saw it. He was doing like 185 pounds of squat. And squats, you want to go low. I mean, this guy's doing like quarter, half squats doing that. And so he put the bar on and he's already struggling. He's shaking. I mean, you see it. And what ended up happening, if you're going to fail your squat, you want to keep your hands on the bar.
Yep.
And you have the catchers at the thing to catch. So this guy, he went for the squat and he was too lean forward, you could tell. And so he just lost it. And so instead of holding on the bar, what he did is he grabbed the catcher, and so 185 pounds straight on his finger. So
like some of my fingers.
Yeah. So basically, and the absolute craziest thing was it was my first day back because this was a couple years ago. So I had COVID. It was my first day back in like almost 2 weeks. And this guy just comes screaming at me. He's like, I got to go to the hospital. And I thought he's just like, oh, I got a cut. Like my finger's gone. And dude, he opened his hand and you just see like the bone looks like, like a broken branch and his finger's just hanging on the side. Dude. And I was like, yeah, I'll call 911. And, paramedics came and they put him, they said, we're getting you ketamine. We're calling your parents right now. And they took. So that's one. But the CPR one was really interesting because literally after it happened, this was we have to debrief about it, with all the information, they have to take the AED with them. And the AED shows them like, what did he have, and that AED showed like my compression rate, how deep I was going. It showed all that. And we always say paperwork is important, right? Paperwork is so important. You know what? One of the guards did. They wrote the incident report in Sharpie.
Oh my
God. Damn.
And so we had to like redo the whole incident report.
Oh my gosh.
And it was actually crazy because that incident report went to the assistant director's desk that night. It was a Sunday, if I remember right.
Wow. And
that night, Monday morning, she had it.
Wow.
It's crazy.
And so, I mean, and it was funny because that night after, we had a stand, and I think you remember it was called Bottom, where you have to get in the pool. And so, like, the whole situation, like, debriefing, make sure all the statements are right, make sure everybody's like, after that, they're like, yeah, you got to go in the water. That's my stand. I was like, man, are you serious? Like, I just did this. And they're like,
I literally, that is the funniest thing ever. Hey, thanks for saving the dude's life, but get back in.
Yeah, get back. That's interesting.
We don't do it for the special treatment. It's just another day.
Man, that's crazy. I've been lucky enough to never have to deal with like something like that. But your story like really reminded me of like the only thing I can think of is like being in a car accident, like how it's like it's so like quick and it just like happens so fast and you have so much adrenaline pumping through you, and then when you come out of it, like when it's over, you're like almost like, who am I? Like, what day is it? Like, what's happening right now? And you slowly like kind of come back to. So that's like really interesting hearing that, man. That's crazy.
And when I got off work, because that all happened, and then of course my boss is texting me, my boss's boss is texting me, like just make sure. And one of the first calls was Parker.
Yeah, he called me.
Wow. And I think you're having your birthday celebration or something like that.
Yeah,
and
I think I just finished eating with my family.
And I told him, I was like, hey, so I just did CPR at work today, and he's like, okay, I'm listening. He's like, I'm listening. Yeah. And so I told him, because it was actually funny, when I just said, okay, let's go, is Parker was telling me a story. I forgot. Something happened in a training And he just looked at everybody and said, okay, let's go. And that's exactly what I did to everybody. I took a deep breath and I told everybody, man, take the deep breath if you need it. Yep. And I just went to work and I said, okay, let's go. We got to work.
Yep. You just got to take the first step, man. Like that's
the first step. And I always tell everybody, I said, take the deep breath and get your position. Technique is always important.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did.
And it just shows like good training and because that's the thing is you won't be able to prepare for the stress, but you always prepare yourself for what to do. And once you get that first step, like, all right, we're going, like we're moving, then like everything's fine, because I remember it's not a full story, but it was an EAP. I walked in and I could see him perfectly. Like I could see what instructions he were given, like everything, because this man, no joke, he just had a box of gloves in his hand and he's pretty much at the middle point between where you could get the gloves to where the person was. And he was just looking left, looking right, looking back, looking up. Like he just didn't know what to do with these gloves. And so I know someone just said, go grab gloves. And that's what he did. He grabbed gloves.
And didn't know what to do. Yeah.
And that was the end of instructions, right? And so, he's trying to figure it out and things like that because he knew the victim. So he was a little bit more stressed than like you would normally be just trying to deal with the situation, right? And so I walked up to him and I was like, hey, we need the rest of the safety bin. So go bring that over there and I'll take those gloves from you. So I took the gloves and he's like, okay, you grab the safety bin, brings it right over there, like sets it down. I was like, cool. I was like, you're going to set up oxygen for me. And after that, it was fine. After that, it all kicked in. But it is crazy. Like, he obviously knows all these things. Obviously, if I said, any other day of the week, I say, hey, go grab gloves, right? Bada bing, bada boom. But it's funny. You talked about communication, how important that is, how it needs to be very quick, very distinct, and like straight to the point. And that'll help you get that part going on. The training helps you just do that without having to, because if you're stressed and then you have to stress about doing something right, like you're just going to be stuck, right? But if you're just stressed because it's a stressful environment, and then at least you know what you're doing, and then you kind of zone in like Nick was talking about, then it's way easier to do once you take that first step. And that's just what you kind of have to do and be aware of a situation is these situations, like they make sense now. Like I think Nick and I have enough experience to be like, okay, like let's hop in and go. But if it's like your first situation, there's a glimpse of like, is this actually real? Even like car wrecks. Like I think it was one of the best analogies you could say. Like you get hit by a car or you're in a fender bender or whatever. Like did this actually happen? Like how did it's a question that pops up.
You're like, am I okay? Am I dead?
Yeah. Like, and there's you got to figure it out. Yeah. So, but if you do, imagine if you train for car wrecks, it's like, okay, here's my insurance card. Here's your insurance card. Let's make each other. We're not bleeding, whatever, that would probably be a lot easier. Like, oh, I got hit. Am I good? Right. Okay. Now next steps, insurance, whatever. And that's like the same thing. It's like if you train to, really, really be on top of like, and that's why we time everything, right? We say set up oxygen, like less than 15 seconds. We do all these kind of NIST things that I call them so that they're so confident in them that all I have to do is say, do this one thing. Right. And then they can do that one thing 100% and push through. And that's what, we saw, that the AED being set up at that pace is actually it's not surprising, but it's I would not expect everyone to have set up the AED that quickly. I would expect to get a set up from time to time, but not to the point of like literally one cycle. So maybe 20 seconds is very, very impressive because that guard was relatively new, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Like 6 months or something like that. So like a fairly new guard too, to be able to do, and it's not that AED is complicated, but again, you're adding real life. This is a no breathing, no pulse situation in front of me. Right. And I have to this AED is what's to bring them back to life. And I hold that power in my hands. And so for someone to do that in 20 seconds, boom, 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 bada bing, is really, really cool. So it's a great story to show. Great training. I mean, you're super well trained. Great training allows you to overcome the stress and the fear of what if, right? We've talked about what ifs, this whole series of podcasts. Get out of your head of what ifs, just do. do the next step. That's why Frozen 2 is one of the best movies on the face of the planet. Love that movie because it's about hitting rock bottom and taking the first step.
That is a good movie.
Dude.
Very
it
good
is
movie.
so good. Like plot wise, not my favorite. Frozen 1's still better, but like meaning of life, Frozen 2 is the absolute best movie probably you could watch for if you are high school through your mid 30s. Watch this movie and like let it change your life.
Yeah.
You're welcome. So that is, hit the step, do what you need to do, and great results can come out of it. It's just such a cool aspect.
Well, and I think and you can tell just by, Nick, by you just talking about it, like you can tell that you care, and like you cared to progress your knowledge in these skills. And like, that's a big part. Cause like, I feel like our skills, if you separate them into all different types of categories, they're not necessarily hard. It's just the fact, it's just when everything is all at once, that's when it becomes difficult. But like, if you have every single individual skill mastered and you take time to like learn that, practice that, and like for us in the summer, that's like coming to in-service, right? Like that is the number one thing that like shows me as a guard that you care, right? So like, I think like doing that kind of like, it goes a long way, I think.
It's true. Like you have to, that's why we push it. Like in-service gets repetitive, but that's the point. There's a lot of things, but it's a lot of same things. CPR, always going to be 30 compressions, 2 breaths for at least the next 5 or so years and for one person, just to be like as basic as possible. LGITs over here like, oh, he says the LGIT, but it's 15 and 2 when it's 2-person child and infant. Come at me with knowledge, bro. Come at me. But anyway, like it's always going to be like that ratio, right? And when you've done that all summer long, over and over and over again, it gets boring, and that's why people don't want to go. But the idea is that you really should be like, if you're so good that you're bored, like that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's like, this is easy. I could do this with my eyes closed. And that's what I would see. The people that would go to in-service, man, I'd see them like week 10 and they would just be like, whistle, 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 like clear the pool. And they would say all these things and they would just do it like, all right, it's just another day. And that's the point, because then there was an EAP there and it was just whistle, 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 clear the pool. All this communication is happening. Like that's the idea. You never want to imagine. This is what I always get fearful of is I know I could have gone to these in-services, but I chose not to because I didn't want to, do it on my day off, or I didn't want to wake up a little bit early. And next thing I know, like I have like a 5-year-old that's like no breathing, no pulse in front of me. And it's like that to me, like kills me, because all I had to do was get up, right? All I had to do was do it just to be a little bit more confident. And so that's how I view it is, don't view it as, oh, I got to do this because it's mandatory. Oh, like I hate this because it's so repetitive. That is my,
take pride.
You should really want to do that because this is what we're playing with. And it happens all the time, man. Like and the number of 911 emergencies have dramatically increased over, barefoot of like, I think it was at our 11-year mark or a 12-year mark. We went from maybe 10 911 emergencies. No, it really wasn't even that. It was like it was about 1 or 2 a year. So about 10 to 15, let's say, we had 11 in 1 week. And in that same year, we had like 34 in total. And it was like that pretty much for like 2 or 3 years running after that. And it wasn't even like, they're like, well, what are your guards doing? Or are they just letting you know? Like it went anywhere from anaphylactic shock to a kid running to being a potential spinal, to an old lady that just slipped and fell, to a heart attack, to stroke, to heat stroke. It was just like, name a scenario and it probably happened that year. Like it just, and that just don't know.
The biggest thing with it is you never know when this will happen. I was just outside. I was just outside looking at my phone. It was another Texas December.
Yeah.
It's like
nice little 75.
Yeah, I know.
In December.
I happened because some guy just walked out and I overheard the radio. Didn't expect that I was going to do 8 cycles of CPR that day.
Yeah.
So
you were on break,
never know when it will happen.
on break?
Who's checking cubicles? No, you weren't checking. The head guard was.
The head guard was. I was just outside. I was on a break.
Yeah,
just chilling.
Crazy.
So. And we had and then I have like a guy, like I know he's lifeguarded. I think he lifeguarded like 4 or 5 years at the time. Never had not even active save. Nothing.
Wow.
This entire time. So it's all just very dependent on, knowing what your day is and that kind of thing. And so it's cool. If y'all hear my dog in the background, I apologize. I don't know if you can hear her, but she's probably the poodle. There's a poodle, man, and Bella does not like this poodle one bit.
You should play a prank on the poodle and just let Bella out.
Dude, she might. Bella is very protective, like I have a bad dog. I've trained so many people in my lifetime. Very, very good at it. But my dog is terrible. I mean, she is just so bad. She's a great, I love her and I can love her and I could be all in her face. Nothing. Right. But she don't like people. I think it took you 4 visits before she would not bark at you.
Yeah.
So,
it was probably 3 or 4 visits. But last time I went there to feed your dogs, me and Bella, we were getting along. She was
okay. Yeah. And that's what it is. I mean, she has trust issues. Sorry.
Yeah.
She gets a little anxious about new people, but after 3 or 4 visits, she'll do that. But if we have to do that for everybody, it's so basically my house is off limits. You don't have to worry about me attacking you. You have to worry about Bella attacking you.
I think
she's a big girl.
My favorite thing about Bella is when I went to feed the dogs. She had to individually check the other 2 bowls. To make sure the other dogs were done. Cause she didn't believe
Benji was probably doing that too. Because Benji's actually, I'm pretty sure all of them do it at some point. But I think Bella does it first. She does the big clean.
Walker does it hours later.
Dude, yeah, he's so fat, man. He at 3:30, so they eat at 5 usually every day. And it's 3 o'clock, 3:30. He is walking in hey,
chopping
to feed me.
Yeah,
it's all fake love too. You'll sit on the couch, he'll lay all nice next to you. No, dude, I know you're lying. I know you don't care if I have to feed you or not. But he's fat. They're all fat, dude. They're all fat. But Bella's the nicest about it. Benji will give you love and be hungry, but Walker is fake. That's a fake mofo right there.
Straight up.
And it's dinner time. It's all fake. He'll spin around hey, I did a trick. Feed me. So Nick, first time podcasting.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Oh, I like it a lot. I mean,
good.
Minus the setup. I mean, Parker's wire etiquette needs to be a little worked on too.
It's bad.
We got to work on that. You're about to cause an electrical fire.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think 9 wires are all pretty much touching at this point.
Hey, my roommate, he just bought a gaming PC, and he found these things online that it's it almost looks like a black hose, but all of your wires can go in there, and it
Yeah. See, that's not usually the issue though. The issue is so I have that cable management. This is on the right side. I'm pointing, you can't even see it, but it's over on the right side. That's fairly good. It can be a little bit better, right? But I also have this big surge protector because I have my iPhone charger, and then I have my iPad charger, and I have an Android charger. And then what else? I got this coffee heater thing. And then I have the rest of the plugs for all the monitors and stuff like that. It all goes back there. So that's it. It's just all up front. It's really easy to see. I mean, it's all hidden.
Yeah.
I mean, right now it's not hidden. Right now it was me moving and it literally just exploded cords. But and I have 2 other cords on top of this just to get it all to work. But yeah, I really need to get it professionally done. But I don't know. The hose might work, but I don't know. I need to pay. So if you want to do it, I'll pay y'all literally $50 to just fix this.
I mean, my PC, yeah, I got the wire issue too, but I mean, I can work on it.
I have it somewhat tied, but it's not as.
I mean, my biggest thing is I have a backup battery for my PC.
A battery?
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's if that goes 8 hours of battery or something.
Holy cow, dude.
Jeez, dude. That's crazy.
That is good.
Yeah.
I need to upgrade my PC. Dude, when I upload a video to YouTube, I want you all to know how much I'm sacrificing it. All right, I upload one video to YouTube, and my CPU percentage goes all the way up to 92% usage.
So you could probably not even open up
I could almost blue screen to death. And in fact, I actually did blue screen to death once.
Wow.
When I was uploading because I had too much stuff going on. So yeah, I have to like exit out anything. Now keep in mind, it's not the best CPU. It's like an i5. But yeah,
time for the upgrade.
It was like $600, dude. Like, I mean, because if I'm gonna buy one, like I don't want to buy one for 4 more years.
Yeah,
it's like $600.
Yeah, I told them I'll take them to the store I go, and they usually run good deals.
Look, I'm telling you.
Unfortunately, with mine, it looks like the graphics card's coming from my PC. So.
Yeah, and then I want to get that, for like the 3 times a year to play video games. I want to play it on 4K, bro. Like I want a 4090. So I'm telling you guys, you get to like, subscribe, and follow so that I can get some damn income to pay for this computer. Look what I provide for you guys.
Ultra graphics, everything.
Everything. Yeah,
when's our PC podcast?
Our what? Oh, talking about PCs.
Yeah, PCs.
Hey, we'll just have to add that to the series, man. Yeah. What do we have? We have top 10s, CPR stories.
True crime, maybe.
Yeah, crime. Well, that's its own channel.
Yeah, I would say y'all's top 10 was pretty. Y'all's top 10 video games was actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, top 10s was good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you like that. That's cool.
We need to do another top 10 soon. We got a lot of interviews going on in a little bit.
I mean, I did say San Andreas should have been on that.
Dude, yeah, I didn't even think about GTA.
I mean, San Andreas, all time my favorite game. I always thought it was still better than Grand Theft Auto 4.
Yeah, I think someone else said that. I was like, why isn't that on there? And I guess I just didn't think about it.
We pissed some people off.
We did. They were like, I think it's in the comment too. It's like, why is this not on here? So,
dude, these guys' list sucks.
So we'll have to get. Yeah, I mean, I guess video on games done now, but sorry,
there's so many.
Gonna be on there. Yeah. But I went super old school because I went childhood memory almost on that. So
some of it was nostalgia. Some of it was
exactly. I try to hit it all, guys. Can't make everyone happy. Get over it. You know what? If you're upset, go away. Unfollow. Unsubscribe. I don't need that attitude here.
But he needs the PC apparently.
Yeah, but so wait a little bit, and then when I don't need you, unfollow. When I have when we have 10,000 subscribers, go away. 9,999, baby. Jeez. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Nick. It's really super cool to have you. First interview. Hopefully, I have a better interview process down the road. And I had a whole mic, guys. Look, I got this whole extra mic, and I don't know, couldn't work it. I didn't have enough PC upgrade. I didn't have ability, technology wise, to figure it out. I don't have a soundboard. That's what I need.
Oh yeah,
soundboard.
That's what it is. Oh, guys, like, subscribe, follow, so we can get a soundboard, upgraded CPU, upgraded GPU. You want to stream? Hey, Tanner and I can't stream without all these great things. So,
dude, with the soundboard, anytime we stutter or anything, it could be like a fart or like bruh.
Oh yeah,
something like that.
I do want to get I want to be able to hit all the buttons, especially the bleep. I want the bleep, man. I just want that all day. Yeah. Well, let's do we'll do our follower appreciation. Are you following us?
On Instagram, I have.
Okay, good. That's all that matters. Yeah, you can follow us on
it was actually funny because it popped up on People May Know, and I was like, what is this Big Bear podcast? And I see Parker White. And I texted him, and I was like, you have a podcast now?
Yeah.
And then so it's actually funny. I was telling him, I was like, when I work out, I listen to y'all's podcast. I usually work out.
See, guys, it's great to work out too. Yeah. Big Bear Theory, best workout podcast you can ever find.
Every Tuesday, I'll listen to it.
Nice. That's good. Sorry, guys, I'm struggling. All right, followers. Oh, man, now I got to go down to it's nearly not as bad. Okay, so follower appreciation. This is something we always do now. I fear the day that somehow we get 1,000.
Oh, my God.
I don't know. I don't know if that's just thinking too highly of us or...
Dude, that'll just be 3 podcasts. Just shouting those people
I am fearful of it a little bit, so... But we do this for everyone who's followed. I just want to show appreciation. Thank you all for following us. This is what allows us to do it. Because, I mean, Nick didn't even know about it until like our third or fourth episode. And,
That's true.
You know, so more follows, more stuff that allows us to engage with good people. And, you know, hopefully entertain some folks down the road, especially with crazy stories like this. So thank you all for this. Shout out, be famous for a little bit, starting off with Chris Scott. So Chris Scott, thanks for the follow. Emma Watson, that's a lifeguard, super legit human. Haters Podcast. So we're followed by another podcast now.
Haters.
I haven't checked y'all out. I'll check y'all out in a little bit. I hope y'all are good. Chloe Town. Iris or Leon Chavez. This is official one, so we might have a famous person watching us, which is sick. Kaylee Austin. Her clips actually come. She's like a photographer, so that was kind of cool. Corey Vore. So he was all mad. He's another jiu-jitsu guy, by the way, and I kind of gave all these people shout outs. Like, oh, you didn't give me a shout out. Well, I haven't hit you yet, so now I hit you, Corey. You kicked my ass. He's very, very good. Like probably one of the best in the gym. So there you go, Corey. There's your shout out. Hopefully you don't tap me out next time I see you. This one I read wrong at first. I thought it was 2 murder Mormons. It's not. It's 2 murder morons. And these guys are cool. They're a murder mystery. So we have to ask them, you know, what they did. But they have a cool podcast. I haven't looked too much into it. But yeah, they do murder mystery stuff. So that's pretty cool. Max Bovenkamp. Oh, he refollowed us. All right, so we got to refollow. Thank you, Isaac, for coming back. Alex Falche, a buddy of ours. Yep. You know, I'm super cool dude. Landon Cooper. And Shinka Singh. I'm pretty sure that's a lifeguard, but don't quote me on that. And then Dylan. What does it say? Dilla's the Knicks. I don't know. Dylan. I'm gonna give Dylan. And then I'll do TikTok just for funsies because it's a little bit easier to read. Riley and Sarah, obviously, thank you for the follow. You made it, so you should be following it. Taylor, Cam and Gloria, Barefoot Edits. That's what Sarah and Riley run. So if you want to see some of their other work, Barefoot Edits or barefoot.edits is the thing. Emily, Imani. And there's everybody. Cool. So thank you all for the follows on there. Really, really appreciate it. And then I do have a segment real quick that I have to do. It's very, very important. My instructor, Mark, has been very upset that he has not gotten his shout out. Now, I said you could, you know, earn it by following us, but I will appease to Sir Mark here for a second. So, Mark, I just want to thank you with my deepest soul. You have dramatically changed my life for the better, and I just don't know where I'd be without you. I really wish you were better at jiu-jitsu, but no, I don't know what to say. So thank you for everything that you do. Get better at half guard, and maybe I'll introduce you again. So there you go, Mark. There's your own personal introduction. No one else is going to get that.
We needed that. That was needed, guys. Apparently, that was required. We needed that.
Yeah, y'all are welcome. Get your own podcast if you don't want to listen to it. A couple last things. Shirts, we're waiting on more approval. We just got one more that we're going to approve. Then that'll be out. More details to come. We are doing another LGI course, another one. So that'll be April 6th and 7th and 13th and 14th in DFW and in Houston. So we're doing another LGI course. If you missed it because of whatever, there's your chance to make it happen. And last but not least, Nick, I wish you had tattoos, man. We can start representing. But Mad Rabbit Products, the sunscreen is out. Do the sunscreen. I haven't tried it yet, so I guess I can't until I tell y'all. But that is what I'm super excited for. But use our code BEAR, BEAR 2024. That'll give you 20% off. You could do that today. You could buy something else tomorrow. You could buy something like you're going to get 20% off every time you use the code. So it's unlimited supply. Just do it. But BEAR 2024 is what's going to get you that extreme lovely discount and help us out as well. Also, if you would like to take me on Wolverine Jiu-Jitsu in Rowlett. I am teaching now, officially teaching on Fridays, 6 a.m., starting March 29th is the first day that I'll teach. So if you'd like me to teach you all these amazing things, they're not going to be that amazing, but they're going to be awesome. I do 6 a.m.s Fridays. Otherwise, if you'd like to join the gym, just join. It's a great time. It's a great experience with great people. Look at all these people that are following me. Didn't even ask them to. All great just people following. So mass appreciation, great community. And that's all we got. So Nick, you got to do a heart with us.
A heart,
so
okay.
Hearts in the chat. Big hearts.
Big
Thank
hearts.
everyone for Nick coming. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all very much.
Come again.
Thank you, Nick. Later. Thank you, guys.
Oh.